Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA, 1815 Zulu on December 6th, 2022. And it's time for Tuesdays with Tim and Jeff. And Jeff is on hiatus. So we have today a special guest live from the DX Engineering showroom inside the Summit Racing Superstore. It's Greg, K2GRG. Hello, Greg.
Hi, Tim. How are you?
Good, good. It's exit 29 on I-76. And are you getting hams in there today? What's going on, Greg?
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah, it's that time of year again. It's the holidays, so we're getting hams. We're getting spouses who come in and are hoping to surprise their husbands with gifts, and so it's interesting because there's two types of spouses. There's the spouse whose husband has tipped them off exactly what they want, so they have a shopping list, and then there's the spouse who are hoping to surprise their husband, and they'll go to clothing items and things where they, it's not like I'm going to buy you a surprise ham radio that I may or may not get right, but we have a lot of clothing items out on display, from hats, winter hats, to t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets. So if your spouse happens to present you with a jacket, or it's probably a suggestion from us here.
So, and on our website now, Greg, I know you know that we have, you can have multiple wish lists. So you can have a Christmas wish list. You can have a spring antenna wish list. So it's really nice to have those multiple wish lists. Uh, Greg, so let's talk about today. What, customers that came in today, what did they buy?
The last customer that was here, we'll work chronologically backwards here, just easier for me, is adapters. And there's such a huge variety of adapters. You can find them on our website. And it's a matter of you can mix and match and pick. End number one was an SMA female, other end SMA or UHF female. So we went through the process and had some options, and so they were able to do that. The other one was a new radio on the market. You may have heard of it. It's from ICOM, the 7300.
Yeah, the 7300 is very popular, right? I mean,
Yes.
You would think after all these years that everybody that wanted a 7300 has one, but it's incredible the number of 7300s that we sell every day. I mean,
It is. It is. Yeah, and this gentleman has been a ham since 1961, and his last radio is from the 80s, and he's decided to take a step forward, and was a bit concerned that yeah, he never had a radio with a screen on it or anything like that. But the thing about the 7300, there's just so much support for it. It's been around for long enough, and there's so many of them out there that there's so much support uh, on YouTube, on the internet, from people in your ham club. It's not an exotic radio. It's a well supported radio.
and one of the things I like about the 7300, Greg, and I can say this about, all the ICOMs, and even Yaesu, but the ICOMs in particular, they don't die. The finals don't blow out. They're so well protected. I mean, guys can make mistakes, and it's okay.
Yes, they're a lot more forgiving than some radios I'm familiar with from yesteryear.
Yes, yes. Now, so let's talk about your story, Greg. When did you get into the hobby, and what got you started?
Wow, thing that got me started was just when I was a kid, 9, 10 years old. Some I, the mobile oil company at the time mailed a flyer to our house saying it was we'll send you. I don't know why the oil company did this, but you could try a shortwave radio. And I happened to get the mail that day, and like ran to my parents. I'd like to get a shortwave radio to listen to shortwave stations, and we could try it for free, and we tried it, and my parents decided they didn't want to buy it. They sent it back. But next Christmas, I ended up with a different shortwave radio and started shortwave listening, and did that for years and years and years and years. And just loved it, just loved everything about it, just hearing different places in the world, and even talking to places in the world, corresponding with there was someone from my hometown that was in Ecuador, that when I sent a QSL reception report for a QSL card, I got a letter back from a guy in Ecuador, which was amazing to me. And so things like that. And then my dentist was a ham, and for reasons unknown, one day he said, "Well, you want to see my ham radios?" Well, sure. And Collins S line, of course. It was just like, wow, I want one. So it was an awesome experience. So that's just like, I'm gonna have to do that. And life got in its way. So it 50 years later, when I retired in 2012, I was like, God, I'm retired. I have to get a license now. So I went and studied up, took my test, and the excitement continued, or changed courses, and went full bore from there.
And I think it would be incredible the number of hams that got their start in shortwave listening to HCJB in Ecuador. And the story there is really good. We could go on and on about that, Greg, but so very cool that you're now in the hobby and you're working at the best place that I know, inside Summit Racing.
Is that what I thought? I thought this is Summit Racing. I thought we just sold auto parts in the lobby.
Well, yeah, it's DX Engineering, but Summit Racing is there.
It's right here. Yes.
Two great
Yes.
hobbies together. Let's see who's in the chat room here. We've got Massimo is in there. KF0NZY. Massimo must he could be flying, but nice to have you in, Massimo. And KB0 Sierra Quebec Whiskey is in from England. It's 2 Echo 0 Radio Echo Echo. In Oregon, Whiskey 6 Bravo Juliet Radio, and Kilo 5 Foxtrot Juliet Alpha. And from Philadelphia, where it's raining, Whiskey Juliet 3 United. And we've got from Denmark, Oscar Zulu 1 Delta Whiskey X-Ray is in. So, Greg, we're a lot of great international guys listening in. And WA4 Mike Oscar Mike from Kentucky. And from Colorado, it's Kilo Fox 6. Oh, I'm sorry, Orville, California. Kilo Fox 6 Echo Whiskey Oscar. Dino was on from Virginia. Kilo Lima 0 Sierra. Having a ham spouse makes it even easier or harder. Toby's a great wife of Dino, and Dino has been building his station, and of course he's a blogger. I gotta show you this, Greg. Let's do a share screen here, and go to one of my favorite websites. Let me know when you see this. Let me know when you see my screen.
There you go. I see it on all bands.
On all bands. And Greg, one of the things is Dino is one of the blog writers that we have that participates in this. Look, we have one of the guys that's going to Bouvet, just did a really, really good blog, Adrian, KOH Sugar Charlie Alpha. And so this is really cool. And then we have product reviews, how to build aluminum antennas, emergency communications, FT8. Every day we're loading more and more information up here. We've got some of the best blog writers. Here's Adrian's blog on the most remote uninhabited island on Earth. So onallbands.com. This is the place to go. You can get even gift ideas here. Here you go, Greg. A lot of gift ideas on onallbands.com.
Sold a Vibraplex key just like that yesterday, as a matter of fact. And yeah, on all bands, it's such a good resource. It's an encyclopedia. It tells stories. There's just so much there. Speaking of Vibraplex, this is one of our specials this week. It's a microphone from Vibraplex from Inrad, a company owned by Vibraplex, and 40% off. It's on
40% off.
on the DX Engineering website right now. So
40% off, the deal of the week. That's really good, Greg. And Greg, tell us about the radios that you have in front of you. What radios are there?
Goodness, 7610 from ICOM is just right here, next to something very similar in the product lineup. Dual receiver here, the from Yaesu, the FTDX 101D, and the video out from that is up here on the monitor as well. So that's what I was going to say is what's immediately behind me. The lineup continues. We can see how far we want to go. The FTDX 10, the FT 710, go on forever. It's just so many.
Right. I mean,
so many.
It's a literal candy store there of all the popular radios, and you can go in and try them. And
even we spoke of the 7300. There it is back over there on the table, hooked up next to the 9700. So
right. And don't move that camera. You're freezing up. Let's
all
see
right.
here. We got Greg, November Charlie 7 Bravo. He says he's waiting for his DX Engineering packages to arrive today. And Greg, it's really good because we send emails that let you know where your packages are, and that's really nice. And Gary says, I love my 7300. And we've got Germany 6 Alpha Delta is on from England. I'm playing this loud so my XYL can hear. Not too late to order for Christmas, but don't, especially going across to England, don't wait too long. We've got John on, K5 Radio Tango Radio is on. And let's see here. Adrian says, who does the recover on a transceiver at DX Engineering after Magic Smoke? Not sure. Dan says, WA4 Mike Oscar Mike, my wish list is to have the money for all the new equipment I would like to purchase. Well, you'll have to work on that, Dan. Let's see. John says, if I die, don't tell my wife how much money I spent at DX Engineering, or I won't be able to get a headstone. Here's Dave, K Delta Victor, one of the DX Engineering sales team. Hey, Tim and Greg, glad to be riding along today. Great show as always. Another interesting story from a DX Engineering associate. And Dave, thanks for all you do to help our customers here at DX Engineering. When customers call in, you might get to talk to KDV, you might get to talk to K2GRG. Let's see here. Mike Maury is on today with us, our friend from Greenville, KE3 Juliet Papa. Also from England, Germany 0 Tango Mike Hotel. And Mark Brown, November 4 Bravo Charlie Delta, the chairman of the Huntsville Hamfest. Our local vet had a 6-element 3-band quad. And we stood in front of his house waiting for the bus. I was in awe of that antenna. Let's see. Here we got Tom, November Yankee 0 Victor. I'm reviewing the ARRL 10-meter DX contest rules. And of course, that's this weekend. 10 meters is going to be just jumping with activity in the ARRL 10-meter contest. And our friend Michael, Whiskey 3 Mike Lima Juliet, fresh off his expedition up to Maine. Michael, good to have you on. And let's see here. Tim, you were talking about DX having spools of coax to sell. The first person I talked to was uninformed with the inventory. Well, we do our best. And I'm not sure who you are, Cornbread, but we do have spools of coax, right, Greg?
Oh yeah, yeah. I back in the warehouse went by them today, and yes.
Yeah, we've got lots of spools of coax. And Dan says he started out as a shortwave listener. He still has his old Drake receiver, Christmas present in 1972. And says John says Dino has a great article in QST this month. So yeah, check that out. And Bob the Traveler, WD8 November, Victor November says, I need to drive up to the DX Engineering store and see what's new. And you can go in and see Greg and Mark and Wayne and all the guys. Tom says, thanks for your information. November 4 Tango Victor. And let's see. John says our club has a Celeb Ham Whiskey 6 November Bravo Charlie. And he was just elected into the Vanberg Satellite Amateur Radio Club. And let's see here. We've got several other comments in the chat room as well. But Greg, you're working at the best place in the world, the Candy Store, DX Engineering, inside Summit Racing, and open 6 days a week. You guys are there, and I'll bet you're having a great time.
Every day is just a walk in the park, Tim.
Okay. Greg, thanks so much for being here today. And thanks to all the listeners and the viewers. And we'll see you next time here at DX Engineering. Until then, 73.